Hi, in this video we're going to have a look at the gradient-intercept form of a straight line, and this is the form y equals mx plus b. So this is all about linear algebra. Linear just means straight line. Okay, so we're looking at straight lines, we're looking at gradients, y-intercepts, we're going to be graphing these lines, and we're also going to be finding the equation of a line when the graph has already been drawn for us. So let's have a think about y equals mx plus b. There's two main things we need to, when we look at this, to be able to find m and b. They're the two main things. M is the gradient or the slope. The gradient equals rise over run. So gradient, in other words, is the slope. How steep is the line? Now, the gradient can be either positive or it can be going down and it can be negative. And a way I like to remember it is if you get a tick for something, okay, the main part of the tick is in the positive direction. It's a positive thing to get a tick, so that's how I remember. So if you want to leave the tick there, that reminds me about positive gradient. The other thing we need out here is the y-intercept. Where does the line intercept or cross? Where does it intersect or cross the y-axis? So this point here, that is the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. So down here, if you get given an equation, y equals 3x plus 2, what is the gradient and what is the y-intercept? Straight away, this is in the place above it, this is in the place of m. Whoops. Y equals mx plus b. So therefore, the gradient equals 3. This positive 2 is in the place of b. So the y-intercept equals 2. Let's have a look at part B. I'm going to write it above. Y equals mx plus b. The gradient m is in the place of 5. So the gradient is 5. Now I know here we have y equals mx plus b, but that's just the general form that they give you for it. So here, this negative belongs with the 4. So the y-intercept equals minus 4. Nice and easy there, guys. You just have to say what's in the place of m. 3 was in the place of m here. What's in the place of b? And that's it. Let's move on. Let's graph some straight lines, and in here put underlines, exclamation marks. If you're ever in doubt about what a graph looks like, draw a table of values. Fill it in and plot those points. So we're going to look at this example. Graph y equals 3x plus 2. Here's a table of values up here. Let's fill it in. Now, you just have to pick a few values. I'm picking a couple of negatives, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So a couple of negatives. 0 is always good. We'll identify what 0 is in a sec. And 1 and 2. So what does this mean? This means when x equals 2, I'm going to start with 2. That's here. When x equals 2, we're subbing 2 in here. Y equals 3 times 2 plus 2. So y equals 6 plus 2, y equals 8. So when x is 2, y is 8. That is the coordinate point 2, 8. So let's go and plot it here. We go across 2, up 8, which will be here. It's not on this coordinate plane. It's up there somewhere. So that is the coordinate point 2, 8. What about when x equals 1? So that is this second one. When x equals 1, y equals 3 times 1 plus 2. Y equals 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So that is the coordinate point 1, 5. So come across to the coordinate plane. We go across 1 to the right in the positive direction and up again to 5. right there. Let's have a look at 0. When x equals 0, y equals 3 times 0 plus 2. Well, anything times 0 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. So 0, 2. So what happens when x equals 0? We've got a point right on the y-axis. This line is going to cut the axis, the y-axis, at 2. So the y-intercept is going to be 2. And look what we have there, plus 2. So we've done it correctly. Can you see here what's happening each time? That went up by 3, that went up by 3. Because this is a linear line, after as each, whoops, as I'll fix that up. As each x value goes up by 1, the y value is going up by 3 because we had 2 to 5 to 8, and that is represented by the gradient going up by 3. So this is going to be minus 1. You can obviously put this in your calculator, and this is going to be minus 4. So let's just plot those ones. Minus 1, minus 1, negative 2, down 4. Get your ruler. You'll be able to do this a bit neater than me. Going up there, going down there, and make sure you put arrows on the end of it, because this is a line, it keeps going. Just because we've plotted those points, there's plenty more points. It goes on in both directions. So we have graphed here, this is y equals 3x plus 2. We're done. That's it for graphing. Let's move on. In this case, they've actually given you a line, and it says finding the equation of a line. So it's the opposite of what we just did. We need to find the equation of the line in the form y equals mx plus b. The two main things that we learnt right at the start of the video, we need the gradient, and we need, I'll put this down here, the y-intercept. Let's think about this. Let's start. The y-intercept's a bit easier, so let's start with that. Where does this graph cross or intersect the y-axis? Right here at minus 2. So here, the y-intercept equals minus 2. Done. That's nice and easy. Gradient. Alright, I'm going to do the gradient down here a bit further. Just down here. Gradient equals rise over run. Now, for the rise over run, we need to make a right-angled triangle. Okay, and there's plenty of options here, but here I'm going to go from here down to here. Here is my nice little right-angled triangle. Let's have a think about this. Okay, if you want to, sometimes you can put the triangle down this way. So there's your right-angled triangle. There's a couple of ways to do it. The rise, let's think about the rise. How much of a distance is that? That's 1, 2 units. So the rise is 2. What about the run? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's think about this line. Is this a positive or negative gradient? Okay, when we consider the rise and run, we just consider them as a distance, so all positive. The negative comes from this green line. It's in a negative direction. Going back up here, remember, this is the one, it's in a negative direction. So what we have to do, we have to stick a negative in front of it. We can simplify minus 2 over 4, that's minus a half. So we've found the y-intercept and we've found the gradient. So therefore, to write the equation, we write y equals m, which is minus a half. X is just x. The y-intercept is minus 2. That's our equation. X and y are just values that we can plug in to draw the line. Right? You don't need to worry when finding the equation what x and y are. They're just the values. You know, your sub values in for x, and then you can get y, and that's how we plot points. Okay, but for this case, you just need the two things. The two things we need is m and the y-intercept, the gradient and the y-intercept, and from there, okay, we can find the equation of that line. That's it for this video. Well done.